This is Dr. Rebecca Johansson, running and triathlon coach with the Performance Project. Today we're going to talk about 3 facts about lactate. We're going to start at the picture at the bottom, which is a very basic diagram of the 2 phases of glycolysis. So the first step in glycolysis is an energy investment phase. So we're starting out with 1 molecule of glucose, and we need 2 molecules of ATP in order to move on to the energy generation phase. So the ultimate goal of glycolysis is to produce ATP. So it's a very quick source of energy and it doesn't require oxygen. So the second step is the energy generation phase. So ultimately, what do we get out of glycolysis? And that is 4 molecules of ATP for 1 molecule of glucose. We have 2 molecules of NADH, which is very valuable in terms of energy production. And then we have 2 molecules of pyruvate or lactate. So pyruvate can be used in the Krebs cycle to generate more ATP, and that process requires oxygen. And lactate, what we can do with lactate. It's very important to understand that lactate can be used as a fuel source. So it's not just a metabolic waste product. During exercise, it can be used as a fuel source. So number 1, when we talk about 3 facts about lactate, lactate is produced all the time because glycolysis happens all the time. So even while we're at rest, your body needs to be producing ATP because we constantly, all the cells need ATP for energy. The second fact is that mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cells, and mitochondria play a very important role in terms of energy production while we're exercising. The heart and the liver are 3 major sites that can oxidize lactate. So they can take up lactate into the cells and ultimately generate glucose from that lactate. And that's what we mean when we talk about lactate being a fuel source. And the third fact is that during intense exercise, the problem can be removal of lactate becomes a rate limiting factor. So your body is not able to remove or shuttle lactate to other sites that would help generate glucose from that lactate. It becomes a process that's not happening fast enough, so we get an accumulation of lactate. And so it's very important to also think about the end goal. And the goal is to produce glucose for glycolysis and in turn generate ATP, NADH, and more pyruvate or lactate. So that really is the end goal. Don't get too bogged down in all the steps and memorizing everything. Of course, if you're a student in physiology or exercise physiology, you're going to have to. But for people who don't have physiology backgrounds, just stick to the basics and that's going to get you really far.